Tim in Kirkwood, Missouri, outside St. Louis. Great to have you. Welcome.
Thanks, Rush. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Mitch McConnell should not be blaming President Trump nor unnamed political leaders. He should be blaming the millions of us out here that feel that we were cheated in this last election.
Well, but you don't have a mind of your own. You're a mind-numb robot. You're only doing what you're doing because Trump led you to it, you see. So he thinks you're exempt.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to stop you. I continue with your thought.
No, it's, Rush, we're all frustrated. And it seemed like the tide's turning against us here, and there's just no way to reverse it.
Well, I understand that, but let me. This is tough. Let me ask you how long you've had this sense that the tide is turning against you.
Oh, several months.
Okay, so it's not something you just realized today. It's something that you've been aware of for a while.
Oh, no, I felt this coming. I mean, the people that want to be able to vote without registering, these mail-in ballots, these unregistered ballots.
Yes. All of these things were designed to counter your vote. All these things were designed to make your vote not count, really. It was designed to overwhelm the massive turnout that they knew there was going to be for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But the idea that things have been aligned against you, it's not new at all. But you know what's going to happen? All of this eventually, I don't know when and I don't know how, but all of this is going to backfire. And you know why? Because the Democrats are Wile E. Coyote. They always blow themselves up. They always step in it. I can't predict when it's going to happen here, but they always do. The media will always be there to cover it up for them as well. But they're going to blow this because they blow everything. They blew with the Wellstone Memorial. They've had any number of chances to totally take over and co-opt this country. I'm frankly surprised that there is still, given everything that's happened, that there is still a viable opposition which is made up of people like you. Tim, you're not at your wit's end yet. You're not without your options, and you certainly have not lost all of your power. They're scared to death, Tim, of what you could still do. They're scared to death of Trump. They're scared to death that he was going to run again. They're scared to death. They don't think that they have vanquished Trump. They hope they're able to down the road, but they don't believe they have now. But people that have visions of authoritarianism and totalitarianism are quite dangerous, and they're not to be taken lightly, so don't misunderstand. But they are going to blow this. It's going to blow up on them one way or another. It always does. And the reason it does is because of the people of this country. The majority of this country is not socialist. The majority of the population doesn't want socialism or communism, and they realize it's being forced on them against their will. And I'm going to tell you something, Tim. We have a more active, engaged opposition to the Democrat Party today than at any time in my lifetime. And it manifests itself in any number of ways. I have been frustrated over the years, as I have shared with you, that we don't seem to engage in any real opposition. We just complain. We go vote, we complain, we talk about this or that. Well, those days are behind us. I think there are a whole lot of people doing a lot more than complaining. And I'm not talking about the conspiracy side of things. I'm not talking about the QAnons, whoever the hell they are, and whatever else. I think there is a genuine degree of anger in this country over the specifics of what happened in this election. I think there is a legitimate amount of anger among the American people who voted for Trump, who realize or strongly believe that he was cheated. They are livid over the way he was treated for 4 years. They are livid over the efforts that have been made to destroy him. They're not going away. You have, I think, every reason in the world to remain confident. Now, having said that, Biden is going to be inaugurated tomorrow, and he's going to be president, and the Democrats are going to run everything for a while. And in that, they're going to blow it. Look at what they're doing in California. They're forcing people to leave California. Tech people, they're forcing people out. Now, it's got its downside. Those people are going to other states. They're going to our states, and they're bringing their corrupted policies with them. But the people that have brought liberalism to their states can't even stay to live there. So we've got plenty of opportunity that's going to be presented. It's going to be right in front of our faces each and every day. It's going to require action. It's going to require voting. It's going to require any number of things. But I'm telling you, I'm seeing, the clock, I got to go. I'm telling you, I'm seeing more people engaged over this defeat than I've seen any defeat prior. Jack in Worth, Illinois, you're next. I'm glad you waited. Hi.
How you doing, Rush? It's an honor to speak to you.
Thank you.
Real quick, because I was told to get there quick, I believe the Republican Party did not give President Trump from day one any support. Now that he's being out, I believe President Trump should announce tonight he's going to run independent and take all of his followers and do the same. Me and my wife were both going to go independent. I've been a lifelong Republican. We're changing our affiliation to independent.
Why does he have to do it tonight?
Well, he's going to be giving a speech, and it might be his last opportunity to talk to the mass people out there, all of his supporters. He's been banned from social media. It's going to be hard for him to get out there and tell his followers. We have a midterm election coming up. All those Republicans that are going to be up for election, we need to find independent people and take the 80 million plus people that support Trump and go independent and start getting these people out, Republican and Democrat. Go independent. The people will follow him. He's a leader. I don't believe he got support from the Republicans.
Let me just, I don't think that if, for example, Trump does not deliver a speech tonight, that he has run out of, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. What is it I'm looking at here? Harold Ford is on Fox, but he's in his kitchen. He's moved his satellite broadcast location from his living room, where it had the Mao photo over the fireplace, to the kitchen. And what you can see now, he's got one of those stoves with a big faucet behind it where you can fill up a pasta pot with water without having to walk to a sink. That's a highfalutin kitchen, by the way. That is a chef professional kitchen, when you don't have to walk to a sink to fill up a pasta bowl, or whatever. You're going to boil apples, whatever you're going to do. But he's moved to the kitchen. You got a red brick oven behind him now instead of the photo of Mao Zedong. Anyway, I didn't lose my place. If you're worried, Jack, that if Trump doesn't do a speech tonight that he's lost opportunity to reach you, that's not going to be the case.
What do you feel that running as an independent would be? Would you think it'd be a positive thing? I mean, right now,
I don't. I am so outside of that aspect of politics, parties and labels and independents, Republicans. I'm loyal to the term and the label conservative. It means specific things, but even that has been subject to a massive branding effort to destroy it. So I think even conservatism may need to be rethought in terms of where and how it is used. But for Trump to announce that he's switching parties to independent, I think in Trump's case, it doesn't matter what his party is. It doesn't matter what his label is. Trump is MAGA. Trump is Make America Great Again. Whatever he does, that needs to remain the identity of his political objectives. Make America great again. America first. It can be done. It needs to be done. He did it. The first 3 years of Trump's presidency were just phenomenal. And then here came the pandemic. A disease from which 99% of the people who get it recover from it. We shut down the economy. We shut down the small businesses in blue states and blue cities. It was devastating, unnecessary. But if Trump wants to go independent, fine. If you think that Republican is a bad word and that the Republican Party's reputation, image has been destroyed by the left and the Democrats, fine and dandy. It doesn't matter to me. As long as it's the agenda that remains understandable. You know, here's the thing about agendas, political agendas. I've called your attention to this in terms of Reagan. Reagan had a very, very understandable agenda. It was not complicated, and he could express it and advance it anywhere. It was referred to as the three-legged stool. Anti-communism, i.e. defeating the Soviet Union and China. Rebuilding the American military and the American economy by way of tax cuts. Those were the three things that made up the Reagan agenda. No matter where he went, no matter what his labels were, whether he's considered a conservative or a Republican or what have you. The truth of the matter is that Republicans in Washington didn't like Ronald Reagan. They thought of him much the same way that they think of Trump. Now, Reagan was not as bad as Trump in their viewpoint, because Reagan was at least sophisticated. Reagan had been a governor. Reagan had political, electoral experience. Trump was just a bear in a china shop. He was out of control. But whatever Trump calls himself party ID-wise, to me, is not relevant. It's what his agenda is. And he still has the best agenda of any politician, short of Reagan, in my lifetime. Make America great again. There's a reason 75 million people voted for Trump. There's a reason that when he made that trip down the escalator on June 5th of 2015, there was a reason that he had majority support in the Republican Party. And that is the people that voted for Trump know exactly what the left has been doing to our country. It's nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with white supremacy, nothing to do with white this or that. It has to do with the left destroying Western civilization, destroying the very culture this country was built on, destroying constitutional morality and the rule of law. It had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do with white people thinking their country was being taken away from them, made to be safe. Nothing to do with that at all. But that's what the left says it was about. They never gave up on that. They're wrong about it. But people were livid over this. They were livid being called racists. They were livid when they heard that they wanted to return to slavery. That's what the Democrats were saying the Trump agenda was about. Just a crock. It was always about a great country. It was always about making America great again for everybody who lives here, for everybody who's here legally. It was not complicated. Make America great again is not something that you need a PhD to understand. It is so simple, people glommed onto it like white on rice. They loved it. It's why they're still there. And they still believe it can happen. And it can. The Trump MAGA agenda can succeed. It will succeed again the next time it's implemented. Because it resonates with millions and millions of people. It's going to really resonate after 2 years of the Democrat tearing this country apart, which they're going to do. The Democrats are going to tear this country apart, value by value. tradition by tradition, institution by institution, they're going to tear it apart. They're going to make America long and hope and desire for the America of their youth, which was great. And there was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with the Ozzie and Harriet version of America. There was nothing wrong with the Beaver Cleaver version of America. There was nothing wrong with America then. The Democrats are going to make something wrong with America. They're going to turn it into something it was never intended to be. And the more they do that, the greater the opportunity we're going to have to make America great again. The Trump agenda will not die, no matter what he calls it. Republican, independent, take your pick. Doesn't matter to me. Tom, Palm Coast, Florida. Great to have you, sir. I'm glad you waited. Hello.
Hey, Rush, mega dittos from a late August 1988 listener. And
Thank you.
Mega prayers for you and Catherine and your families.
Thank you very, very, like I said yesterday, I appreciate all of this, and don't let the manner in which I say thanks make it sound like it's pro forma. I really do appreciate it.
Never would have thought that. I'm going to get right to it because I was told to. Do you believe 100% in your heart and soul that the Democrats will follow through with packing the court, ending the filibuster, and making D.C. and Puerto Rico states?
I think right now they have every intention of doing that. Yeah, they have every intention of trying it. Yeah.
Well, if they do, and we know that since they cheated very well and won,
yes,
and they'll expand mail-in voting exponentially if they can because they saw how well it worked.
That's exactly right.
How do you maintain the unbelievable amount of optimism you have for the future since they won this one and
because I think
should be relatively easy for them?
This is hard to explain. I just don't see our country dying this way. I just don't see it. I rather see something happening that screws up the Democrats in the midst of their efforts to do this. I don't deny they're going to try. I don't deny that they're serious in their thinking about it. I just think that something is going to happen that will prevent them from actually accomplishing it all. I can't begin to tell you what it is. I don't know if they'll have defectors in their own ranks. I don't. But I just don't see the end of the United States right now. I just don't see it.
I don't want to see the end of the United States by any stretch of the imagination, but they're getting very adept at the amount of evil they have in them.
Yeah, I don't.
And what they're doing, and they're winning doing it, and we seem to have no responses to it.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't deny that. It's a frustrating thing that you've nailed it. They're winning while doing this. It appears that they're winning while doing this, but I'm telling you, there's more of a organized opposition to them than there has ever been since I've been doing this show 30 plus years. I don't know how that's going to manifest itself either. But I also, in all aspects of life, I have just found, including having it confirmed again recently, there's just no purpose in pessimism. There's no, unless you are convinced that it's the only reality, that the worst you can think of is what's going to happen, and you'd better prepare yourself for it. I just haven't gotten to that point yet where pessimism is a worthwhile virtue. Now, some people will tell you that it is because you have to prepare for inevitable reality. I'm still of the mind that inevitable reality isn't inevitable. That is still subject to change by virtue of going to war against it. I also don't deny that I am, for the most part, a naturally optimistic person. So, and if you want to think I'm all wet, and if you want to think I'm saying this out of something less than sincerity, go ahead. But that's not the case. I'm not trying to be optimistic for the sake of the audience or, anything else. I'm just sharing with you what I actually feel and think in combo about this. It just all adds up to, I'm not ready to give up yet, I guess. Yeah, don't discount Donald Trump in all of this, particularly in America's future. No, I don't know anything. I just, other than I know Donald Trump.